Okay, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's time once again for our economic lesson. Okay. Canadians have their taxes cut. We promised to cut taxes on first-time home builders. They've been cut. We promised to cut the carbon tax. It's been cut. You weren't here. It's been cut. It's been cut. I'm going to quote independent research, Mr. Speaker, of the Canadian Climate Institute, which finds that the impact of the industrial carbon tax, now wait for it, the net impact of the industrial carbon tax on food prices, it is on average around 0%.
The House of Commons absolutely erupted today. Fire, sarcasm, and political theater at its finest. Because Pierre Poilievre thought he could rattle Prime Minister Mark Carney. But what unfolded instead was a masterclass in confidence and control. Carney didn't just respond, he educated. He didn't just defend, he dominated. And by the time Melanie Joly jumped in, it wasn't even a debate anymore. It was a demolition. This is the face of a government that's done playing defense and a prime minister who's had enough of political games. Pierre Poilievre came in with his usual populist pitch, painting a picture of struggling Canadians and blaming it all on one man, Mark Carney. He tried to corner the prime minister with emotional talking points. Grocery aisles, fuel bills, and the tired old inflation blame game. But what he didn't expect was that Carney would flip the script entirely.
Canadians, according to this Prime Minister, have never had it so good. If you're that single mother out there walking down the grocery aisle, looking at prices rise before your eyes, if you're that senior choosing between eating and heating, if you're one of the countless Canadians who see that roasted coffee is up 41%, since the Prime Minister took office, that nuts and seeds up 15%, that food price inflation is now double the target, or if you're one of those 2 million people that are lined up at food banks every single month, the Prime Minister says you've never had it so good. How is it possible for this Prime Minister to be so costly and so out of touch with reality?
Hear, hear. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Okay. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's time once again for our economic lesson. Okay.
Carney took a deep breath and then owned the room. Mr. Speaker, it's time once again for our economic lesson. It was pure confidence, no anger, no nerves, just a calm professorial tone, the kind that instantly makes the opposition look small. He laid out the facts. Canada's inflation is down, growth is steady, and our deficit, the lowest in the entire G7. It wasn't just an answer. It was a public schooling. But Carney wasn't done yet, because when Poilievre tried again, this time accusing the government of broken promises, Carney fired back harder. We promised to cut taxes. They're cut. We promised to cut carbon tax. It's cut. You weren't here, hinting at Poilievre's election loss. The entire chamber erupted. Laughter, cheers, even applause, because this was Carney at his sharpest. He didn't just parry the attack, he mocked it. And in that instant, the narrative flipped from Carney under pressure to Poilievre out of his depth.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister is now lecturing Canadians who are lined up at food banks, telling them that they've never had it so good. That if only they appreciated all the many promises that he's made, promises that he hasn't even begun to keep, that they would then be appreciative of the fact that here we have fresh and frozen beef is up 14%, fresh and frozen cut chucks up 12%, frozen meats up 11%, coffee grains up 40%. Does he believe that people paying these exorbitant prices should be thankful for his economic lessons?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker. We promised to cut taxes for every Canadian. 22 million Canadians have their taxes cut. We promised to cut taxes on first-time home builders. They've been cut. We promised to cut the carbon tax. It's been cut. You weren't here. It's been cut. It's been cut. And we promise to build this country strong. November 4th, this House will have a choice. Are you with us for those single mothers? Are you with us for those farmers? Are you with us to build this country strong so they can get it?
And just when Poilievre tried to throw in numbers to back his attack, Carney hit him with real data. He reminded the House of Commons of the independent studies showing a 0% link between the carbon price and Canada's inflation rate. In other words, the opposition's favorite talking point, completely dismantled. It wasn't politics anymore. It was math, and Poilievre had none to stand on.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister has tried to deny the existence of continued hidden Liberal taxes on groceries. But Canada's leading food price expert, the food professor, Sylvain Charlebois, has said the exact opposite. He says, and I quote, "The industrial carbon tax, the worst part is still there." He was referring to the fact that farmers pay the tax on the steel that goes into their farm equipment, combines, tractors, and bins, and on their fertilizer. Is the Prime Minister really going to expect Canadians who can't pay their grocery bills to believe that the cost of the carbon tax on our farmers does not get passed on at the grocery shelf?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
No. Mr. Speaker, I'm going to quote independent research, Mr. Speaker, the Canadian Climate Institute, which finds that the impact of the industrial carbon tax, now wait for the net impact of the industrial carbon tax on food prices, it is on average around 0%.
But it wasn't just Carney carrying the torch today. When the conversation turned to the auto industry and Stellantis' decision to shift operations to the U.S., Industry Minister Melanie Joly stood